Lynn?
Thanks, Brian.
Okay.
Lynn? Okay, I
Yes.
can't hear. All right, you're there?
Yes, but I cannot get it to go to video. I don't know what's wrong. It's not letting me go there.
Did you use the email to get here?
Yes, 3 times, and I can get the phone call, but I cannot get a camera.
And I don't know how to tell you to, I mean, I lucked out, put it that way. Okay,
And
so
they're telling me to go to the App Store, but I'm not sure which one I'm supposed to
The
pick.
Google
Dan was
Hangout
talking
Meet.
Google Hangout.
That it's called Hangout Meet
You told
by
me-
Google.
You told me to. Okay, I was told to type in Meet. There's 1,000 things under Meet. Google
I know.
Hangout is not there. Google Hangout is not there. Should I type in Google Hangout Meet?
You name what when you were naming the ones that were there. It said Hangout Meet by Google.
No.
So yeah, type in Google
Okay.
Hangouts or Meet.
So it is Google. Okay, I am.
I don't have an iPhone, so I don't know
I'm gonna
exactly
start
what it's
streaming,
called
okay?
on the Play Store.
I'm not angry. It's just very frustrating because I got on early to try and get this right, and it's just.
All right, Sue, whenever you're ready, we gotta do the pledge.
Okay, everybody please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
The flag.
of the United States of America
To
and to
the
the
republic
republic for which it stands,
Which state?
one nation,
One nation.
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This is horrible. Okay, everybody's got their budgets?
Yes.
Yes. Hi, Lynn. Hey, it is Lynn.
Yeah. Hi.
I don't see her.
Oh, she popped up
She's here.
and she disappeared again.
I'm
Okay,
here.
John, what page are we on? John,
Well, I'm gonna do an overview.
okay,
So after we've gone through a couple updates since we got the garbage contract in, as of right now, we have to find $62,000 in order to make the tax cap without using any fund balance. If you want to use fund balance, it's a different story, but we're not there yet. We'll talk about that at the end, I think.
okay. So, okay. I guess my first question is, I'm assuming that you finished this budget with an idea of what sales tax revenue you are going to get. Have you changed that? Because obviously it's going to change with the situation right now.
Correct. We have anticipated, depending on how many weeks we don't get any revenue, which would be 0, it's 22,000 a week. It's not going to be 0. We just don't know what the number is going to be.
So all these numbers could be arbitrary because if when do they think that they're going to know this information? Because that would obviously make a difference whether we were going to use fund balance or not, correct?
Yes, we won't know until after our budget's already required to be passed, unfortunately.
So what do you suggest we do to, I don't know, what do you do in that situation? Do you just complete the budget the way it is, anticipating not using fund balance? And then what happens if we adopt it and then that number drastically changes?
Then you'd have to find revenue sources or cut spending in some way.
Well, you're the manager. I'm assuming Kelly's here.
Yes. We
So
talked
how much-
about
how much-
maybe 4 weeks. It's likely going to be between $80,000 and $100,000. That's where we anticipate. We have no clue if that's right, but to try and be conservative, that would be something I would work with.
Okay, so we'll just, everybody, please just keep that in mind when we're going through this exercise, I guess. Okay, John, go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right. Blue pen right there? This one? Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. So Mike Bliss is here. Kelly's here next to me as well, just so you know. We go through his lines first. Starting in revenue, it'd be on your page 3.
3,
For you, yeah.
okay,
It's A 2002. It's based on the numbers that we're going to get from the county. It's already grant money's already been awarded, so let's put on that one.
the 7,000, is that what you're talking about?
Yes,
So that's what we have been awarded?
yes,
Okay, so that's an accurate number.
yes.
And when will a decision be made about the summer program? That starts in June?
Starts in July 6th, but we won't know until the County Department of Health lets us know.
Okay. Anything else on page 3?
No, page 4.
Anybody have any questions about that $7,000 for the teen center?
No.
Okay,
Okay, the
ahead,
next
John.
one, next one, page 4, starting at the top. Donations have been pretty steady on average every year. Community council, other organizations, the Buddhists, the school actually have all made donations to youth programs in the village. I don't see that changing because those all take place after June and we should be back to normal by then.
okay,
The next is adult trips. This includes the senior trips
Senior trips, Jets.
and the Jets trip,
Yankees trip.
Yankees trip, which we anticipate having this year so far. The revenue should come close to that.
so I thought at least the Jets trip, hasn't that always been a push?
Yeah, that's the push for that and push for the Yankees as well. So we're just
Okay.
showing those numbers here. Yep. The next is the beach. Just depends on how many people come to the beach during the year, how long it's open, how many sunny days.
Okay,
Basketball, same thing. It's been pretty steady. It'd probably be a little more than what's on here, but we'll try to be competitive. You never know how many people will sign up. And the
okay,
next is facility use. That's how many people use the gym or the bathrooms at different parks and pay a fee. It's been pretty steady as well.
okay,
Next, flag football depends on when we are able to do programming again, whether or not this will happen. And if it doesn't, then the expenses will be reduced to match. So it should be a wash if that were to happen.
okay. Okay, Halloween, you have, so nothing from Halloween because you're not doing the,
Haunted house.
okay.
You can go to page 5 when you're ready.
Does anybody have any questions on page 4?
No.
Okay. Yes, somebody had a question?
No.
Okay, I guess nobody has a question. Go ahead.
Page 5 starts with the registration fees on SI Play.
That's for what? I'm sorry, I couldn't understand you.
Registration fees for SI Play.
Okay,
It's pretty average. Next is soccer. Been pretty solid around the numbers that's on there. It's actually been more than that, but I think we try to be conservative on those because you never know how many participants you'll get.
okay,
Next is summer camp. Depending on if it happens, we anticipate that much revenue. It could be a lot more, and it has in the past. We just don't know. But if summer camp doesn't happen, we had numbers on that. It would end up being about a $50,000 savings in total, because the costs are around $124,000. That's offset by whatever revenue we have in the budget. It's 74, but we don't know what that would actually end up being if that were to happen.
I have a question about, camp, soccer, anything like that. Do you think, do we require now that kids be vaccinated before they can participate?
Always have.
Okay,
That's a Department of Health requirement.
okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
Tennis is next. We should be good for tennis next year, just not this year. So, yeah, this year's is going to be
Okay.
canceled. We'll have to refund, and we'll talk about refunds at the end.
When was that supposed
That's
to
all
start?
the-
April?
Yes.
Okay,
Was it start date?
May.
April's registration usually.
They're registering, could register now, but it starts May and then May to June, and June would start for like football.
okay.
What's the next one? Oh. Next is page 6.
Does anybody have any questions on
2180.
page 5? Wait,
Is the line?
does anybody have any questions on page 5?
No.
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 Okay,
You got that? So
Yep.
Yep.
page 6,
how
John?
often the
John, I can't hear you at all.
I can't hear him either.
John?
yes.
All right,
So it's page 6. It's line
Okay.
2180. Property maintenance, and that's really based on how many times it snows and how often the code enforcement gets out to cite people.
Hey, John.
Nice.
Mary Ellen and
Yeah.
Becky are texting saying that they can't get into the meet because they're trying to watch the live stream and they can't figure it out because it says their domain is being blocked.
Our live stream is on, and we got it on one of our laptops.
What is the link?
It's the one that's on the website. It's on our village website.
Can I text it to you, Dan, and then you can text it to them?
Yeah, let me.
I was able to get on straight from I copied it from the website and I posted it straight into a web browser.
Were you in an incognito window when you did it? Because
I
if
don't
you
know.
weren't, when it was logging in as you.
No, it was her own laptop,
Okay.
not the village. So yeah, you can make sure. Okay. Any other questions on that? That's all that we have on revenue for rec.
Why do you figure the property maintenance went down 15,000?
We don't
just don't have a
enforcement
code
officer,
enforcement officer.
and it didn't snow that much.
Oh, okay, all right, okay,
Yeah, we'll get there. I hope.
okay,
Well, that would lie, and we don't ever have to use it, but you never know.
right. Okay.
You had a one more, right? What number was that though?
Is that it for page 6, John?
Yes.
Yeah, John, this stream is not available to just regular Gmail accounts.
It says it's on our thing here.
Yeah, but it's on, but
Yeah,
it'll
I
only
just
stream
tried to
to
sign in
Village.
from my phone too, and it says this is not available to your domain. I tried signing in from my personal Gmail account, which is what they would have to do. You have to sign in from a Gmail, and it's not working.
Yeah, right now it's only streaming to villageofwalden.org email addresses.
Okay. Well, this recording and the whole meeting recording will be posted online right
And we'll
after.
post it. Okay.
We'll try and figure it out.
All right.
That was
Okay,
it for
what
that
page,
page.
John?
7.
Okay,
So if you go down to 2350,
Okay.
that's the contribution from the town.
so this is the 25,685 is what they're giving us?
Yes.
Okay,
And that's it. That's it for revenue for him. Here, what number are you? So I can go to the page on your page. Next page will be page 20.
hang on, Jesus, I can't hold the phone and 20. Okay, everybody got page 20?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, John.
Okay. So just have a question here. Brian, what's your phone number?
845-527-3469.
Okay. 36. That's someone else on there. There's just somebody with the last 4. Their phone number ends in 36. I'm not sure who it is. That's
Lynn.
That's mine.
you're 36.
That's Lynn.
You're in
That's me.
twice. Okay. I got you in twice. That's
Because
It's okay. We got everybody. All right. So
Okay, go ahead.
it's 70, 20, 100 is the first where we start for rec.
70, 2100?
Yes, on page 20.
Well, wait a minute. What I got is electricity and natural gas.
That's correct. You go,
Three
Yeah,
lines
go
down.
down 2 spaces. 70, 20, 100.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. Yeah, okay.
All right, go ahead, John.
And so that's the salaries for the 3 full-time people. And we'll go over salary page at the end like we usually do, how that's broken out. There's some union members and non-union in there. So
Okay,
the next line is the potential overtime. As you see, it's been floating around 4,000, but we want to be careful and make sure we're covered. We don't have to do balanced budget transfers. So that's where we're at, the number we're at right now. All
all
right.
right, let me just look. 117. Okay,
Then you go to 401 is the office expense. That could be anything from paper to ink, anything.
and is that their portion of postage as well?
It would be, but they don't really do a lot of mailings anymore. They do handouts at the school district.
Okay,
They use a lot of paper.
Okay,
Telephone, and internet, that's for all the locations to have internet and to have the cell phones for the employees as well for the year.
Why is that going down?
Just how it's been. I don't know, it's just trending down. So I don't think it's an issue. There may have been something else included on there. You'll see. If you it's split, the next line, 409. Yeah.
Okay,
If you go back to 2018, you'll see it's 7,500.
Oh, and then you
It's
split
the
it out
same.
into another line. Okay.
okay.
Yeah. So we know what's being spent on cell phones and what's on other things. So.
Yeah, okay, I see.
And then if you go to 70/24/60, that's just education, just any seminar they might go to or training they may need online.
okay,
All right, and at the very bottom is the parks. It's the
Yep,
part-time people for the year. Depends. It's seasonal. It fluctuates, and that's about average of what we're doing now because when minimum wage is going up, we had to up that as well. So it's pretty much the same number of hours, just the wages are reflected as an
right.
increase.
okay. That's camp as well?
No,
No,
That's
so
just
this is
parks.
just. So
lawn
what,
maintenance,
The part-timers too.
part-time park people.
okay,
And then the next line on page 21 is the overtime for that.
Okay,
so
Hopefully everyone's on-
obviously this, okay, so is this the concerts? This is
No.
that kind of, no?
Grass cutting, snow removal,
I'm sorry, Mike, what?
grass cutting, snow removal, any park maintenance, all the part-timers that work with Chris all summer. And when we have big snow, they come in to help as well.
Okay, so when we do grass cutting and trimming, where does that go? That revenue, does that go in Park and Rec or does that go in the general fund?
That's part of that, that's part of the code enforcement fee revenue line we talked about.
Okay, thanks.
Sorry.
Okay,
So uniforms, which is 7110,435, are the union required clothing.
that's on the next page, 21?
Yes, 21.
No.
Okay,
And cleaning supplies are the supplies they use for their own facilities. Obviously, it's a little bit more this year based on what's going on. It should be fairly average next year.
okay,
Equipment repairs is the next one. So 449. That's small equipment repairs. It could be a weed whacker, a leaf blower, any of that stuff. Zero turn mower, minor things. Snow blower. Should I include that one? I thought it was the mechanics one. No. Anyway, that's that
Okay.
line. We've been okay this year. We had an easy winter, but you never know if the lawnmowers are going to sell. That average.
John, question.
The next line is beautification, and if you look at this year,
wait, John, Larry has a question.
Yeah, I want to talk about the next line, beautification. How come there's like $3,000? Is that the savings?
we're not. Oh, we just started that line.
Okay, okay,
We didn't do any flowers yet this year.
okay.
That'll be pretty well spent when we do all that. It's the
Okay.
switchback at the rail trail, the entrances to the village, the square, and different money we contribute towards Veterans Park as well. Most of that, thankfully, is taken care of by Community Council, but we also contribute.
Okay.
The next 3, 4, 5 lines are all the different parks, the maintenance lines for those parks. Look, Bradley, Ollie, Scout Cabin, Veterans Memorial Park, Worcester. Which one do you think? Random one.
Okay, when you talk about maintenance, what do you mean?
So,
Mulch, change, playground repairs, playground mulch, anything to do with all the playgrounds, change, S-hooks, any wood repairs, stone for the roads, any painting in the parking lots,
plates and garbage cans.
garbage cans, paint,
Picnic tables.
garbage bags, paper towels, toilet paper, everything comes out of there.
Yeah, I hope we have a stock of toilet paper.
Reusable.
Oh, boy.
Okay,
So if you look at the bottom of 21 and top of 22, the electric and heating expenses are we're trying to split those out so we can track it better. So you can see the number change a little bit because we're starting to track that separately.
so when you talk about electricity and natural gas, you're talking about any buildings at the park. This is all parks, correct?
Yes. Okay, if you go down to 7110,492.
Page 22, right?
Yep, second
Yes.
line down.
Okay,
So that's for any expenses they have for doing those snow removals and lawn cuttings that are cited by the village. Also, if they had to go and remove like a trailer full of garbage from a property, it's the same thing, comes from that line.
That kind of money?
Yeah,
Some years it's a
expensive.
lot more than 2016, it's a lot more, but
Depends on the cleanups.
yeah, the cleanups could be expensive. You have to go to Taylor a few times. It adds up.
Yeah.
well, aren't the property owners billed for that then?
Yeah, that's on the revenue line that we talked about in the beginning.
John, would it
Okay.
be worthwhile to get a container to put this in DPW just for this stuff that, rather than $20 or $40 going to Taylor all the time?
We can't because we have to be able to bill each property individually.
Oh, okay, all right,
You're right, though. Yeah, it'd be nice.
yeah.
Okay. Next is beach personnel. That's just depends on how many sunny days we have, really. If there's staffing issues, which happens sometimes, then there may be the need for overtime. It's not very frequent, as you can see from the history, but I want to make sure we're covered.
Okay, so we went over budget last year. Is that what this is,
Yes,
okay, the
$250.
10-250-28. What is that
Yes.
figure, the appropriation actual?
Yeah, it's the same. It's what we actually appropriated and budgeted because we did a budget transfer matched because there was more time at the beach than what was actually. It was actually I think it was less though, wasn't it? What did we have in the beginning? Oh, okay, 250. Yeah, it was 10 in the beginning of the year. That's
Okay,
weird. Okay.
yep,
You go down to the miscellaneous for that one. That's for like bathing suits, if they had flotation devices, safety equipment, ropes, signs, that kind of stuff is all taken out of that line. AED? Or no, that's out of the parks. That's the whole. Yeah.
Well, AD supplies, yes.
Makes
okay.
sense?
Yeah,
Now, if you go down to the next one, that's the one you were talking about before, 7310-100.
Okay,
That's all of the programming expenses. That's for soccer, summer camp, basketball, all of them, all the expenses for personnel for those part-timers come out of there. Team center, everything. As you can see, we're pretty good at overtime there. We have plenty of staffing that can accommodate.
okay, So the other line that you had for personnel services, what was that? That was
Parks.
part-timers, but that was for grass mowing and things like that. This is for the program specifically.
This is the recreation side. That's the park side.
Okay.
Yep. All right, if you go to page 23.
Okay.
The recreation fees, that's the same things the SI play.
You mean
Credit
the
card fees.
registration fees?
There's a registration charge that SI Play charges. It's how much per? $250 per registrant. So that's kind of a pass through. If they use a credit card, there's another fee that they charge us, so we charge it to the person that's applying. Not that we're making money off of that. It's just a straight charge. Okay. And the next ones you see, basketball is pretty self-explanatory. The expenses for the program. The same for flag, expenses for the program. It's like for basketball, what is it? For the basketball program, that kind of stuff comes out of here. Flag football, same thing. Balls, pennies, flags if they need extra. If you go to 7310 450, that's a little more detail. That's for the summer camp expenses.
7310 450.
Yeah, that's for the shirts for the program. And if they had to buy minor things like board games, things like that, it would come out of there as well. Arts and crafts, equipment.
Well, basically, we don't have the teen center really open the other side anymore. It's just the basketball, isn't it?
Yeah, this is for summer camp though.
Okay, summer camp.
Yep. They call it playground.
Okay.
Next is soccer expenses. Again, that's really shirts if they need balls or net replacement, cones. But the majority is shirt cost. And the next 7310 450, which is TEC, is the teen center. That's teen center expenses. It's really not a lot, as you can see. There really isn't a lot expense there. It's if they had to replace basketballs, anything minor they had to do with that. It's not much. And then next is 10. That's for next year. We'll see. This year we didn't have to do anything because it didn't start yet, or it might not even start. So we'll see what happens this year. But next year it should be around the same amount. So we kept it the same.
Bill, can you bring me a glass of water, please? Yeah. Okay.
And what's that one? Oh, so if you look at 7310 450 Youth Center, that would be if they were doing like those seasonal dances and things come out of there. Depends on if that's going to happen next year. We have to make sure we're covered.
Okay.
The next one, 467 entertainment and trips. Those are the field trips for camp. And that's really based on how many participants. So we did okay this year because we were under budget based on how many people actually went on the field trip. We're going to make sure we're covered. If more people went, we need more expense there. So we're just covering that. That's buses, really, and the venue, whatever that cost is.
That's a pass through.
Okay. Is there also, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dan.
No, he answered it.
Is there also money in there for scholarships?
No,
Or does that?
not in that one. The donations from the first pages we looked at in revenue, that includes
Right.
scholarship money that would come in. but expenses are just with all the regular expenses.
Bill. You can sit here if you want.
And then if you look at 7310 479,
Right?
we got a breakdown for it. So hold on a sec. Yeah. That one. Yep. Here. That includes the camp picnic, which is around 3,000. Halloween, which we give out the glow necklaces and things, that's about 1,000. The trophies and candy for the trunk or treat, also in there. And there's also another 3,500 that includes the Christmas in the Square celebration, the Easter egg hunt, and then movies in the park. That should be around the same.
Any questions on page 23?
No.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, 24. The historian, if they needed something, they would come out of this line. We had been doing grants when we had the grants for the signs that go around the village. They were passing through this line as well. But if there's any pamphlets or anything or research that needs to be done, it would come out of this line.
Okay.
As Mike doesn't recall that, but it's on. I don't want to just get that one thing on the sheet. The next is Mike. That's 7550 475. That's holiday decoration supplies. So if they needed lights for the tree or for any of the Main Street banners, they'd come out of there. We did okay this year in that most of our lights made it through the year, but we had some stuff go down. So we may need more next year. So we want to make sure we were covered.
Where is that stuff stored?
We have some at Holly Park and we have some in the building department basement.
Okay.
The wreath.
The wreaths.
Is any of that stuff getting played out that it might need to be? I think we've had those wreaths now for 900 years. Are they still in okay shape or?
The wreaths are good. We replace the lights as needed. We restring them.
Okay. Just wondered, from working on Main Street, I watched them, you know, the wind, the snow, the ice, whatever. I just wondered what kind of shape they're in.
They're about pretty much the same as last year. I mean, they get roughed up and then we spruce them up and put new lights on them, like I said, as needed.
Okay. The next is Harvest Fest. So it's really a pass through because we get revenue, more revenue than we spend on that one, really. But we have to cover our expenses up front. And then there's usually donations through the year that cover that go through the community council.
Okay.
Okay. And then the next one, 479 MIG, Music in the Grove. That's the concert series. Been pretty successful. We have the calendar and schedule for this year. It doesn't start till the last week in June, first week in July, so we should still be okay and on track for that. People can space themselves out if needed. The next one is going to change slightly, which is 762424.
All right, give that number again, 424.
Yeah, 462424.
You mean 762424. Entertainment?
Yes, sorry.
Okay.
That number needs to be increased by $4,185, and that's already in the numbers I gave you in the beginning, because we get funding from the town towards other senior events, and the revenue's in there, right? Yeah. The expenses aren't in there, so we just had to add that expense in there.
So what is it, 4,000?
185, which makes it 47 685.
Okay, I'm missing some. All right, so you're, right now I have 2350 in there, right?
35.
What?
23,500.
Right, so if you're adding 4,185, the
Yeah.
total is 27,685.
685. Yes.
Okay,
Good on my paper. It's insane. I'm a closed caption and it said it right on the closed caption.
anybody have any questions on that page?
No.
Okay,
Next page, 25. That's the aerobics / Zumba for the seniors. You can see it. You can speak up for me too. That's just
The instructor going to the senior meetings when they ask to have them.
usually once a month. It's usually once a month. You have
so
one more.
at the senior, you're talking about the senior meetings and then they have Zumba there?
Yes.
It's really more aerobic. They call it aerobic Zumba, but it's very lightweight movement for the seniors. Yes.
Okay,
What else you got next? Okay. I'll do trees with Freddie.
Yeah, trees for kids.
Okay. Then you got to go to salaries.
that is,
Full pay and benefits, the second to last section.
last
What is he-
section.
Second to last.
I didn't hear what he said.
We're going to salaries and it's the last section, John, you said?
Yeah, pay and
Second to
benefits worksheet. No, not that one.
Second to last section.
Okay,
Page 4 of that section.
page 4.
Yep.
Okay,
Oh, hey,
So it's salaries for the 3 full-time people, overtime up the lines earlier, the lifeguards, and breakdown of the amounts for each of the programs split out, including parks down below as well. It's the same.
I gotta get my glasses. I can't see that.
yeah, could you get the printing any smaller here?
Sorry.
Yeah, I know.
Some of us are old.
Program we use.
Speak for yourselves.
Go, John.
now what page are we on now?
Salaries,
of that-
page 4.
Salary page 4. Oh, okay, okay.
You got it? It's the recreation.
Yep.
Okay,
Why are 2 of the full-time employees, it looks like their salary is going down?
That's the union negotiation that has to do with longevity in our new contract. Is that a
So-
bad thing?
Well, no, so 2 of our full-time employees are going down and the director is looking for $7,000 raise.
Yes. So they're not going down because they asked to go down. That's the union negotiation, and I can't really speak to how the negotiation happened or occurred. But based upon those negotiations, that's what their salary would be next year. That's all I can say on that. Because it's not signed yet, so I got to be careful what we say on it.
That was gonna be my next question. That's a little tricky since, that's not ratified yet, right?
Correct?
are those 2 employees eligible for overtime?
Yes.
Okay, so the annual wage that's listed, does that include any overtime they had?
No, it's down, there's the line just below that, the 5,000.
Okay.
Then you got, as you see down there, the lifeguards, after-school program, camp, soccer, and it goes through all the different programs broken down. And down below programs is the parks maintenance, which is the part-time parks employees that help with lawn mowing or snow blowing, or depending on what's going on, what they would need.
Okay.
What are the other directors' raises looking like this year, percentage-wise?
I don't know because most of the towns and their budget was back in January. We can check. I just know that I know what their salary is. I'm not sure what the raise was from 19 to 20. I know 18 to 19.
Yeah, 10% seems a little high.
So you have town of Newburgh was around 7,300 raise. It was about a 6%, no, 8%. And then you have Middletown was around 9,000, which was almost 12%. And you had town of Walk Hill was 11,300, which was about 15 or 16% actually.
Sure, but if you look at the rest of ours, the DPW is looking at a $1,500 raise over $70,000, $72,000. That's
Who? Which
less
one?
than 2%.
Yeah, I thought they don't go by CSEA increases? These two
It is
guys?
2%.
This is 2%?
Yes.
$7,000 is 10%. That's not 2%.
We're not talking about that one. You asked about the other people, and you said DPW. The DPW is 2%.
Right. And Dean looks like a little less than 2%.
Oh, it's 2%.
I thought Dan was asking about the rec aids. Dan, isn't that what you asked about, the rec aids?
I
No.
asked why the aids went down, and then I was just looking at the increases for DPW and building inspector, and they're both set right at 2%, but the Parks and Rec is asking for 10% increase.
Is that
Correct.
accurate, John?
It's 7,000 flat. There's not really, well, I don't think it's 10%. It's 7,000 flat.
That's a little more than 10%.
10%.
Yeah. It's around there. That's correct.
Okay, so
Any
why
other
are they, I guess what Dan's asking is why are they out of that CSEA percentage?
Who?
Oh my God.
The only one that is Mike right now, because DPW and building.
Because I requested a raise.
That's the only person that requested a raise besides the regular raise in their department requests.
Okay,
That's it. The other ones in that department are union wages, and that's it. And that's how the union contract went. They did get a 2% year to year, but last year's is based on the old contract, so that's why the numbers look like they're going down. They're really not. If they would have got to last year's wages per the contract.
okay, so we got Mike's letter. I think everybody got a letter from Mike about that request for an increase. So obviously you granted that?
Proposal.
Chris, it's this proposed contract, yeah.
I don't
Okay.
think
I
I
can't
got a
grant
copy of that letter.
I don't think I got that letter either.
I did not get a letter.
Neither did I. Not unless it's in my mailbox.
Okay, so, all right.
We'll make sure you get the copy.
Well, am I on?
Yeah, you
Yes.
Uh, In the past 3 or 4 years, we've discussed this during budget season. And in the past 3 to 4 years, we acquiesced to not providing a, uh, a, a stipend is what we talked about the past 3 years. I'm looking at all my notes that we had in the past. So and that stipend was about $10,000 if I remember correctly, and I've got it chicken scratched on my piece of paper. So $7,000 isn't really a hard number. So I think, judging by the localities that are surrounding us right now, some of them are more than 2%, and some of them are more than like 8 to 10% increases right now. So we discussed this historically, and this is the year that we're bringing it up again.
Okay, I think when we have the budget hearing, I think the question's going to be, we know about the town utilizing our director. So I think, John, maybe you need to expand on this, the request. I think some people, from what I've heard, discussions that they're concerned that the Park and Rec director is going to be spending time answering questions from the town, whatever the case may be. I think you need to kind of give some kind of an overview there about time being spent here. You understand what I'm saying? I think there needs to be some kind of expansion on that increase and how you are going to support that, and why no one should worry that time will be taken away from the village of Walden to serve the town of Montgomery.
Certainly.
What about didn't we do a salary survey? I thought we brought everyone up to where they were supposed to be last year.
There
No.
was 2 people that were not,
And
No.
Mike was one.
Yeah.
and the treasurer was the other.
What did the salary survey say?
I don't have
On
it
the
in
two of
front of
them?
me.
You don't have it?
No, but I recall that they said because we combine Parks and Rec, which is a very unique circumstance, that we would be well within our realm to increase the salary for the Parks and Rec director to make parity.
I agree.
That sounds
Yeah,
fair.
because most of them had Parks was separate from Rec
Correct.
Two
in that
distinct,
survey.
two distinct programs, and we're fortunate to have just the one doing both. And
Right.
and if I could reiterate, we do have a handful of part-timers that are working within the village, and obviously they will, conduct business for their part-time offices also. We have about 8 or 9 employees that are working part-time.
Full-time
So
employees working part-time elsewhere? Yeah, about.
So, and we all see what Mike has accomplished in his years that he's been the rec coordinator here, and I think it's a win-win for us, allowing him to have influence within the town of Montgomery. This is what we've been trying to aim for with shared services in the past, and if that's how they wanted to go about it. It's not my ideal way to go about it. I think Mike should have taken the whole program itself and had it moved, and assist the town of Montgomery in their endeavors to revamp their parks and recreations. But we've talked about this historically in the years past. Mike and the treasurer foregoed parity salaries the past couple of years. So I think we should consider that this would be a win for all of us.
Any other questions for Mike while he's here? The only other thing
No.
we have for capital on Mike is the community center, really, and we're working on that with Senator Skoufis.
Yeah, did that ever get
Okay.
resolved, the other $250,000?
300,000? No,
Yeah, I'm
Not-
sorry, 300.
not yet.
Ugh.
Oy vey.
I agree with John. If he's gonna work with the town, and it's to our benefit, you know, for that kind of rate.
Well, but I still think that there's going to be questions, so I think there needs to be a little more elaboration and explanation as to why there shouldn't be any concerns about what we talked about a few minutes ago.
Right.
Understood.
Yeah, no, more talk, more dialogue about that, yes.
Yeah.
I'll provide it to you.
Okay.
That's it for Mike?
Thanks,
Yeah,
Mike.
you just keep us apprised of, you know, as things, if they get canceled or if there's some kind of alteration to the programs, then, you know, we need to talk about that as it happens.
So we have to talk about refunds because we have online registration. People have already signed up for lots of stuff that are going to be canceled. Obviously, we have no refund policy in the village of Walden, but obviously, if not had it being set program, we think we hold their money.
Right. So how does that happen? What is it? Do they pay mostly by credit cards or check, or how do we do that?
Credit card.
It's all pretty much all credit card. There's a handful of checks, and I just refund their card directly on my computer.
Okay.
In the
Mike,
past,
what do you- I'm sorry. Mike, what do you
If there's
need from us to initiate this this refund policy, this
Well,
change?
I have one parent already asking for summer camp money back. They're not working. They can't pay their mortgage, and they paid about just under $1,200. So he's asking to have the refund, and if we do have the camp, he'll be signing his kids up anyway later. He's back to work.
I just can't do that without talking to you because the amounts we're talking about, I want to make sure the board's aware that there may be refund requests, and if they're allowed, then I'll do that and work on those on a case by case, if that's okay with the board.
Yeah.
Because we're on the phone, can we do a roll call? John? You
John
agree
Ramos?
with that?
John Ramos?
Yes.
Yes, I do agree with it.
Larry?
What are we agreeing on?
The refund policy for the village.
Yes, I agree.
Dan?
Yeah.
Lynn?
Yes,
Faith? Faith?
She's not on at the moment.
Okay. Brian, yes?
Yes.
Okay, I'm a yes. Just put down that Faith was absent from that vote.
Yes, it's recorded.
Okay,
Thanks, Mike.
John,
thanks, Mike.
can I,
Questions?
John?
Yes?
This is only a special circumstance for this
Right.
refund, correct? We're not going to make
That's
this
correct.
a routine policy.
That's also correct.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay.
Good night,
Thank
Mike.
you.
Thanks.
Oh, she got kicked out.
Okay.
Okay,
Faith got
who's up?
kicked out. She's trying to get back in.
What?
Faith got kicked out. She's trying to get back in now.
Okay, who's up next?
Fred? He's just in the other room. He's coming.
John, who's up next?
Fred Perna.
Fred,
It said Brad Pitt on there. I don't know, but he's doing the talk to text.
Anybody?
I'm good, thanks. Freddie's here. Well, important, but his glasses on.
Hi, Fred.
Hi, how you doing?
They're right here.
Good.
Hey, Fred.
He's on.
hi, Fred.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
Let's do it.
Do you want to wait for Faith to get back in?
He's in.
I'm
Okay.
back.
Yep, thank
Okay.
you.
All right, go, John.
I'm just gonna get to his first one on revenue.
Just tell us what page.
Yep. You're gonna go to page 8.
Okay.
It's not necessarily Fred, but it is Fred. It's 2590. If you go down there, it's the street opening permits. It's just based upon how many people apply, really. We're over budget almost every year, but we try to stay conservative. Every time they put a gas line in or do a water or sewer line, there's a fee. So
And Fred generates those?
he has to do the inspections on those, yes.
Okay.
Then the next one is on page 9. Top of the page is scrap metal excess that is sales. So whenever Fred gets some scrap, he brings it back, and that's just the revenue from that. Depends on what kind of work we do each year. Depends on how much we bring in revenue from scrap.
Okay.
How much you been getting
The
from
next-
the brass, from the meters?
We tried to return it and they were closed.
Sims wouldn't let us come. Yeah, they're not open yet for us for some reason.
Right. I mean, prior.
I don't know. It was over a year.
I don't recall.
A year ago.
All right. Okay. That's okay then.
The rest of yeah, but yeah. The next is sales of equipment. If we were going to sell a piece of equipment, could be a car or something. We had one that might be coming up, but we don't know for sure. So we're looking at that now.
That's the surplus?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I think that's all on you. So technically, CHIPS money runs through Fred as well. It's just based upon what the governor gives us. That's on page 10 at the top. So we do a paving project. We try to get the recuperated funds from the CHIPS money. So that's what we're looking at.
That's
We'll
the
go over that.
100,000?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, then we're going to page 7.
Okay.
Okay, it's 1490-201 is the first line.
Okay.
I'm sorry, John. I'm sorry. What page?
7.
7?
E-201. 7.
Something's not right. I hope I'm not missing a page.
Mhm.
What is,
Okay.
what is the revenue line?
It's not. We're on page 7. It's expenses.
Okay,
1490. 1490-201.
I don't have that.
In the middle of the page. Well, towards the bottom.
Yeah, I don't have that unless I'm
You
in
don't
the
have
wrong section.
1490. Wait a minute.
It's in the beginning. It's in the first section. Lynn,
That's where
page
I went.
7.
Yes, that's where I am.
Budget revenue preparation worksheet.
Yeah, I might have screwed up my papers. I might have.
No, there's
They might
there's two page 7s, Len, in the first section.
Okay,
You gotta go.
I got it.
You gotta
Yeah,
go down
no.
further.
I know, and I can't find it. That's what I'm saying. I hope I'm not missing a page. Hang on, give me a minute.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got it. I'm sorry. I put them out of order. I'm sorry.
That's all right. So 1490-201.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
Equipment for Fred's office equipment. Could be a
Okay.
printer, computer, whatever they might need in that office. And the next line is education and seminars that he has to go to.
Yep.
We'll have a couple next year. He tried to get the 2 in this year, but the one got canceled, so we'll have 2 next year likely. But it's still around the same. It's about $2,500 a year. Next line is light bulbs for the village hall, really, but actually you don't you're good. Sure, next 16.
That's
The next
just for
one's
the
for
village
Fred.
hall.
Yeah. The next page you're gonna have to skip down a little bit because it's Fred doesn't start until 1640. Page 8.
1640, okay. Central garage.
Yes. The first line, 1640-100. That's the mechanic's salary from the union contract. And any overtime that mechanic might need.
That's all in that line?
Yes. Well, the line for salary, the one right below is overtime, yes.
Okay.
The next line, 1640-200, are the mobile lifts that they're requesting at the garage, but we'd like to move those to capital, which I did on our version, so you're aware that what that was on there for 44,000.
And what is that for again?
For mobile lifts, I don't know if Fred want to explain what those are.
Oh, the lift, L-I-F-T?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any questions on that page? Or go to the next?
Just to clarify, John, you said you moved that to capital?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, and that increase, the salary increase for the mechanic is in line with CSEA?
That position. Yep.
Okay.
Next page, page 9. The first line is the telephone for the garage.
Okay.
We still have the air card. Okay. So that's the phone. So the next line, 164409, is the air card for the iPad. That's that monthly charge. Comes out of that line.
Okay.
1640. 1640. 11.
Wait a minute. What the hell is
I
that?
can't hear you.
That's my house.
Mute.
All right, go ahead,
weather-
164411.
Yes, the first one says auto maintenance. That's $10,000.
Yeah.
That's for all the regular vehicles, the building department, the village manager, Reds, code enforcement. All that stuff comes out of there.
Is that police cars as well?
No,
No.
That's what I
that's the next
figured.
line down.
Yeah, okay.
Police cars on the next line down. So the next one is the rec department.
Yeah, don't we still have police cars that are, we still have the warranty? Don't they still go out, or is this like routine oil changes, things like that?
It does include routine work, oil changes, filters, those things aren't covered, anything not covered by the warranties. Correct. Anytime they run over things, blow tires, that all has to come out of here as well. Any damages not covered by insurance also comes out of here.
So that amount should go down, right? Because we've had a discussion about that.
If you look at 2018 to 19, it's going down. And then 2020, it's so far it's been okay. You know, we're trying to cross our fingers, but I don't want to be too conservative. I did go down a little bit more, but trying to be careful.
Okay.
And the next one is the rec department. They've been okay with their vehicle maintenance. They have pretty decent vehicles for their. I was able to reduce it there too. This one is the truck maintenance. That's for all the DPW trucks, dump trucks, pickup trucks, all their trucks come out of there.
Is there anything in capital for DPW this year?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
You mean vehicle-wise?
Yeah.
No, not vehicles. We have one that we ordered this year. That's not here yet.
And that was a what? I can't remember what it was.
The big dump truck.
Right. When do you expect that to come?
It's been delayed. About 3 weeks ago, I heard from the manufacturer, and they said they're still out. So who knows? We don't really know.
It's not time.
But everything that's going on, we missed the deadline for the order, so that pushed us way back by like 4 months.
Okay, but that's, all right, so that's being paid out of the, before June, correct?
That's last year's capital fund. That's not
Right.
out of this budget or last year's regular budget.
Yeah, but we're starting a new, are we gonna get it before the new budget year?
It doesn't matter because it's in the capital fund. That fund's already been allocated, so whenever it comes, it's paid out of that fund that's already there. It's appropriated in that capital account.
Yeah, but we get that price, correct?
Yeah, the price is set. We're locked.
Okay.
The next one is equipment, which includes the loader and the backhoe. You never know with those. We've been lucky so far this year. We have another big expense coming up actually in the backhoe. So we can't really reduce that much at all. Trying to be careful.
We have an expense coming up. What is it, the hydraulics?
No, it's a seal on the transmission. We might have to send it out. We're not sure yet.
We're trying to do it in-house as much as we can.
Okay.
I just haven't had time.
John,
You get a
John, where's the sweeper falling?
Sweeper's under that line, but we have the sweeper broom and sweeper equipment is as its own line.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay. The next one is the shop maintenance equipment. That would be any drills or presses or anything they have at the shop. The lift inspection fees come out of there. That's a big one. Right.
Okay.
Next is the uniforms for the mechanic. That's contractual. The next line is building maintenance. That would be if they need any light bulbs or anything down there, switches that need to be switched, or tiles, windows, whatever might happen. It's there. Gutters, who knows? It all comes out of that line.
They ever gonna get that gutter fixed that was damaged by the blacktop contractor?
We talked to Queenan on that, and the manufacturer went out of business, I believe.
Yeah.
And I'm in touch with Queenan. We're trying to figure out a way to get it to match.
Yeah, well, the contractor's paying for that, correct?
Yeah.
We
Yes.
reduced it off their bill.
Okay. How much is it?
I don't remember that one. You remember?
No.
I don't remember exactly.
It's one panel and one piece of gutter.
Yeah.
Well, as long as they're paying for it.
Right.
Right. Okay. Next are the small hand tools for the mechanic.
Oh, small tools again.
No, small hands. Got small hands.
Tools will kill you.
What is he buying out of there?
Snap
Give
on.
me an example.
Wrenches, sockets, get power gel.
Screwdrivers.
Yeah, small stuff.
Mhm. And
Mhm.
that's all state contract with Napa.
Say so they can hear you.
That's all under state contract with Napa.
Okay.
Snap on.
Yeah,
Snap-on.
Snap-on, sorry.
Is he doing any upgrades on the computer for the police cars and the trucks for different systems?
That's a big hit. We looked at a unit. It's 15,000 just for the unit, and then it's another 30. I think it was 3,200 a year for the software. We
Wow.
could buy another unit that's around 20,000, and it's includes 3 years of software. We're still going over that. He needs tools just as much as he needs software.
Yeah.
We're playing
Okay.
catch up.
Yeah. Okay.
When you get back, we'll show you what we're kind of trying to do over there in the plan. Gotta get a
Okay.
tool, other things, so yeah. Thanks, Brian.
Okay.
The next, which is the bottom of page 9, top of page 10, so you're not confused, it's gas, oil, lube.
That's gas and oil, you said?
Gas, oil, and
Yeah.
lube, different kinds of grease.
Why is it so low this year? Or is it just because we're not
Price
done?
of gas is down, and we didn't run the trucks a lot to plow snow.
Oh. So no snow makes that.
Yeah.
And
But
this
the-
is also.
Yeah. Well, this is March 23rd when it was printed, so it's a little off. But we
Okay.
have a little bit to go. Down as well.
And
How
that's
much is the
just
price
for,
of stuff?
is that for all vehicles or just DPW vehicles?
That's everything except for water and sewer.
How much
Police.
state bit of gas and fuel went down because of the market now?
I'm not sure what our rate is right now, but it's low.
It's low? Oh, okay. Too bad you didn't have a 10,000 gallon tank.
I know, right? The next is electricity, natural gas at the, it's actually pretty much only electricity now at the shop.
How did the radiant heat work out, Fred?
Well,
Works great. I mean, they can pull out the door. They can have all the doors open, pull out, and then close them, and it heats right back up. And besides that, on a diesel, the heat is coming up, so it's warming up the fuel.
Well, that's good.
It's
that's a
hardly
good system.
It's
hardly
what,
ever
John?
running. It's hardly ever running, and it's always warm in there.
Okay.
That's electricity, radio repairs. If they need some radio work down there, you never know. Just minor stuff that might happen to Mike or something needs to get replaced. Yeah, to get reprogrammed.
Was that a budget transfer from this year that we're negative 1,400?
We have it allocated for the radio work that we wanted to do with the radio tower. It's from all three funds, A fund, F fund, which is the water, and the G fund for sewer, all have money set aside for the radio tower. Just, it hasn't been paid yet because it hasn't been done yet, but it is encumbered. Yeah. We had an issue getting the FCC licensing correct and make sure we had it right for the bidding.
Okay,
So, but for 2 years now, we've been negative, which means it was transferred out and spent somewhere else.
No, it's just encumbered. No, it's encumbered. That means it's waiting to be spent.
Okay.
Yep. Next is heat for down there, which obviously has been pretty good, so not too bad down there. The miscellaneous is in case there's any overages in the department covered. We've been pretty good, but if something breaks or needs a piece of equipment right away, at least we have some coverage there.
and that's just for repairs on vehicles?
Anything at the shop or DPW building, correct?
The
Vehicles as well.
building? Okay,
Building or things that the mechanic might need. That's a shared services line.
okay.
Can we go to page 17? No.
Yeah, then I'll
All
get
right.
done. Go ahead.
Okay. So 5110 is where the highway department begins. It's at all the way at the bottom. Yep. 5110 100 are the salaries, well, the wages, not salaries, they're wages for the highway personnel, including a portion of the highway superintendent.
Any retirements this year anticipated?
Non-highway, no. I think in one
Okay.
more year. We got another year before one member will be retiring. There's a guy in sewer that's going to be retiring, but not highway.
Okay,
Page 18 is the overtime for highway. So they're working on projects and they have to go over, or the weekend, or if there's a storm and they need to come in. Not snow, other, tree branches down or something. They got to come in. That's on that as well. The deer in the road they got to take out. Everything's in there. That might come up.
and that reflects, the increase in salary,
Yeah, the difference from the union contract, yes.
right?
Where are we
Okay.
right now?
Page 18, top.
The overtime line,
Gotcha.
Next is the office expense for highway. They do need to get computers for training. We have a lot of required training now that they're going to have to do. Sexual harassment, OSHA training, cleanliness, workplace safety that has to be done for all employees, really. But for down there, they need something so they can get it done while they're there. So that's that, and anything else they might need.
is that a desktop,
A laptop,
laptop?
2 laptops. We need 2 people at a time. They have to get their own certifications to go through it.
And those will stay in the building, or are they gonna be used in the field as well?
No, those stay in the building. We have tablets to go in the field.
Okay,
Red Hat and Water has theirs, or whatever they have to get done, and the mechanic has one as well. Yeah, okay. That's it.
okay.
And then telephone internet is for the facility down there. Is that that line? For the phones? The air card is on that, the next line. Just a monthly charge for that. And then your material supplies is general, right?
Yeah.
As material supplies could be anything in there.
Well, give us an example.
Yeah. Bolts, wires, could be anything.
Okay,
Paint. The next one's the traffic signs. So those are street signs, including stop signs, no parking, anything. They get faded, they have to be replaced, or if there's new ones proposed by the board, they have to get put in. That comes out of that line.
okay,
Next is equipment rental. So if they need to rent a excavator or some specialty piece of equipment that we don't own, it would come out of that line. It's stump grinders, things like that will come out of there.
and we don't have, no one else has it that we can do shared services for those kinds of things?
We have been mostly, as much as you see, there's nothing spent so far this year, but if it comes to an issue where we need to get it done, we can't wait on them to finish whatever they're doing and use the equipment. If we're both doing the same thing, it would come up usually for both. If there's a big storm and we have to get rid of a bunch of trees and we don't have enough equipment, we have to rent something to move things around. Municipalities are likely doing the thing at the same time.
Okay,
We definitely,
You get that all on the state bid, the equipment rental?
say that again?
Do you get that under the state bid for equipment rental?
Depends on what it is. Some things there is no bid for it, some there is. Like if you need like a mini over at Summit Bobcat, it's pretty much the same price anywhere. But if
Okay.
it's something like a paver, we have state bid that, like state pricing.
Yeah, okay.
Fred's been trying to coordinate those kinds of things so we don't have to rent them, especially a
Right,
paver.
right.
Some places that have them, we'll coordinate them, bring it over. We can schedule that. That's not something that we would need that day. So
Yeah.
we plan ahead. Next is health and safety supplies. So that's Band-Aids, boas, ice packs, the AEDs on there now, right? The AEDs in that line as well now.
No Tylenol, right?
We don't buy drugs.
Oh,
Don, do we have enough of what we need in health and safety now, considering some of the stuff that's going on, and do we anticipate that cost going up at all?
We do not have what we need.
Okay.
It's not available, unfortunately.
Okay. Do we anticipate that cost from what we have? I know when we put these budget numbers together, things weren't really as they were. So do we see that potentially going up a little?
We did account for an increase. You see, this year's only 500. We're going to 1,500.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we've covered it because they're not big price items. It's just volume.
Right.
right.
Good. Thank you.
Close. Yeah. Well, thanks. Uniforms is the clothing allowance too, right? Is that it? No, it's the other side, salary line. So uniforms is the union clothing required to get a certain number of shirts, pants, sweatshirts, things like that will come out of there. And the next line are the small hand tools. Baby hand. So that'd be shovels, rakes, that kind of stuff. Right? Fred loves that line. The next line is sand and stone, just to have supplies when we do digs. For catch basins and drainage pipe work, because if we're doing a water line or a sewer line, it's coming out of water and sewer. So this is just highway related items.
okay,
Next page, 19. If you see generator repair,
yeah,
we have a generator going at Public Works. It was in last year's capital budget. It's still not installed, so that's why there's no cost so far this year. But once it's in, there'll be a monthly charge from the generating company when they do their regular maintenance. So it has to be in the budget to cover us. We're just waiting for NICEAG to give us the approval, which we should have.
Good
Yes.
luck.
Yeah, thanks. Next is that's education. That'd be education and training for the highway personnel.
Okay,
And then street maintenance. That's really the striping and painting, parallel lines, that kind of stuff. Stop bars.
You have to do them every year?
No, we don't do them every year. We do the ones that are needed every year, and then pretty much every other year we do almost the whole village. It doesn't last more than 2 years mostly, but we don't do them if they're not needed. You know, we look at them.
Okay.
did
Yeah.
did New York State ever do the crosswalks they were supposed to do?
I think we did them because we did the patching there too. If you recall, at the intersection of Main and Orchard, in Maine
I
and
was thinking more like, the old Bradley, firehouse on the west side.
no,
We made that
Doesn't happen.
request numerous times, right?
that's correct.
And they still haven't done it?
I didn't see anything painted there yet. Jude?
What do you,
There's-
what's,
The sign, right?
and the pavement was painted.
They painted that one?
Yeah.
I
Yes,
don't
they
know.
did, and the signs.
I know the sign's up. I don't know if
Yep,
it came back.
I remember texting you, when they completed that, and,
Finally.
but that intersection is good to go.
All right,
Okay.
perfect. The next line, 5110 490. That's for patching. That kind of work comes out of there. Street maintenance. If they needed something seal coated or crack sealed, that'd come out of there as well. We don't do that in house, but that's what we paid out of.
Okay,
And we're just starting that season now. That's why it's not much spent out of there yet, but it'll get spent. Next is snow removal. You can see we did okay this year on overtime. Even though most of the snow we got was on the weekends, we still did okay because it just wasn't that frequent. But you never know how many we're going to get, so we can't really reduce that. And then that's the next line, 5142 419, is if we had to get help doing snow removal. We pay that out of there. We've been pretty good about doing it frequently enough so we don't need help, but you never know. If we get blasted a few times in a row, we'll need help. And then 5142 439 is if they need meals during those storms when they can't get out. We usually go get something for them and bring it over. You can see it's not abused. You can look through the years. It's been pretty scarce. That's what it should look like. They've been pretty good at it. They're not going out and getting filet. And then 5142 446 is the salt. We filled the barn. There's not much else we can do.
Are you gonna get the rest of your allocations for the year?
We're trying to fit it. We don't think we can fit it, but we're trying.
You're trying, huh?
If we have to try and make something like carpet or something, I don't even know what you can do. But next year we don't know how much we're gonna need, so we got to make sure we allocate enough for a normal season. Hopefully it's just as warm, but
Yeah.
any other questions on that?
No, I'm fine.
no,
And just while we're here, since it's kind of related and there's no one else to talk about it, 5182 471 is on the next page. Just street light.
okay.
Can we go back to the salt again for a minute? How much do you think it would cost
Page
if you
19.
were to put on a small addition to that ourselves?
Yep, which line?
The salt and sand, mostly the salt. How much do you think it would cost to put say a 10-foot addition on that to try to get your excess that you have to use up for your contract? Would that be worthwhile?
essentially taking the $50,000 and building a shed. Is that what you're saying?
Well, add on to that shed that you got now. Or do you have to go through, the hoops to get that on there?
I like the idea. Where'd everyone go?
I'm
I
here.
don't know.
I think John, they froze. I'm here.
I'm here.
Yeah, I don't. John,
I'm
Google,
texting
living room
Kelly
lights
right now.
on.
hang on.
Okay.
You broke the system, Brian.
Uh-oh.
It was such a
John
good
fainted.
idea that you broke it.
Yes.
John fainted.
He was frozen with that perplexed look for a second too before he disappeared.
Yeah, well, his screen was frozen on my phone since we started.
Really?
Yeah,
So
I have a
the internet went down there for a second. They're trying to get back on. That's what was happening here for me before too. I was just losing internet. So give them a second. They're trying to get back on now.
Marissa's back.
You got to unmute yourself, bud.
I just want to make sure I was recording first before I did anything. Yep, we're good. Sorry, we got booted.
Did you hear what I said?
No, sir. Well, we started talking about it actually when we were offline. We had we want to make sure the new one, when we get it, is bigger to accommodate more, so we don't have this issue in the future, obviously. But we can't put on to the one we have now because it's not a safe structure.
It's not a what?
Safe structure.
Okay, all right. Well, I just thought maybe if you could put a 10-foot addition on, you know, at a fairly cheap price, you know, to get that extra salt in there that you got to use up for your yearly allocation.
We're probably going to try and just get a site. If we need to borrow somebody's space and just track the tonnage, we can do that if we have to.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
All right.
On to the next.
Yep. So just page 20, top of page 20, there's one line. It's electricity, 5182, 471. That's the street lights.
Okay.
Are the
Okay.
lights still on by the post office?
I'll check tonight, but they were last night.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yep. They've been on it now pretty much constantly. We started having better dialogue with our regional director. So that's been helping us a lot.
Okay.
But that's not just the street lights that we pay NICEAG for. That's also the regular lights on the street, the ornamentals. So the new developments, those are all lights. Those expenses come out of there as well. We get to replace bulbs or have
Yeah.
work. That comes out of those lines.
Okay.
Okay.
So next page. 26. Page 26.
Okay.
8140, 410. Those are catch basin materials if we need them. Block, actual catch basins themselves.
Are we expecting something? Because every year we're under budget and then we put the budget up.
So we hope to get to that many every year. Sometimes we don't make it because other things get in the way, but we could spend 70,000, 170,000 and still not do them all. It's however many we can get to. It's just that many that need to get done. We don't want to shortchange ourselves if we end up being able to get to them.
Yeah, being able to. Yep.
So they're going to get to a lot more this year. This is the season that just started. So over the next 2 months, they'll be doing a lot of them. And you'll see that number go up depending on what they need. But we've been maintaining them pretty well. So hopefully that saves us in the long run. And so there's a couple lines in between that aren't really Fred's, but I just want to make sure we go over them. 8160, 401.
Okay.
That's just any office expense we have to send out the commercial garbage bills. It's not a lot. And then page 27 there's a change.
Okay,
So page 27, first line is the garbage contract.
Jesus.
Yep, we have a new number because we got the bid. It's 761,000 around. So we want to make sure you have that in there.
Oh, so that's $150,000 less than we planned for.
That's correct. Yep.
Awesome.
It's because we got a lower bid than we anticipated, and because we've been auditing the bills to make sure that everyone's being billed properly. We had some people that were getting a senior discount that weren't seniors because they'd sold the home, and we had some that weren't being billed the right number of units. So we're working on that.
Come on, you want a treat? Come on, please.
Okay,
And then the next 8170, that's a street sweeper. So there's any room or materials for that for 7410,
What days do they do that?
whenever they can,
Yeah.
as often as they can. If they have a free guy, then it gets done. If they're working on something, just they can't. We don't have a large staff like some.
That's what it seems like. It seems like they come around very often sometimes and not so much other times. I was wondering if it was a given day or if it was that.
No, they try as often as possible, but we have minimal staff in all our departments. That's why it's hard to say we have non-essential people because we don't have extra people.
I have 6 guys. We do sewers 2 weeks out of the month. That gives me 4 guys. 1 guy in the sweeper. I have 3 guys on the road.
It's hard.
Many guys.
He goes as often as he can, though, and he gets around to the whole village. He tries to take at least 1 week where he gets every street at least once every so often.
Happy to see them every time they're out.
Me too.
You're doing a good job with the number of guys that you have, Fred.
Thanks.
are we happy with the sweeper?
Oh, we love it. Johnston would break down at least once a week. And since I've been here, we went through 3 of them. They were all junk.
So that 410 and 413, that's the brooms that they need for the sweeper because they replace every once in a while, and also any equipment they may need and maintenance. They have a general maintenance on that.
Okay,
Do you have trees on you? You have on yours, right? Yep. 85, 60, 410. Those are the trees. We just didn't buy that many trees so far. They're going to be buying them this week and next week. So that'll be pretty much spent.
where are they going?
Around DPW building to screen it from and then also at Wooster's Grove around the stage to screen that more to make it more to like the amphitheater type setting.
Okay,
And then there's tree removal as well, which can be pretty expensive, 85, 60, 490. We try to do what we can in-house, but there's a few really large trees we got to get rid of at Wooster that near the building. So we have to pay someone to do that. That's why that number's higher.
the arborist looked at those trees and they're,
Yes.
okay,
Danger, yep. Unfortunately.
okay,
So for Fred, we're going to move to water.
page,
Page 2. It's in the water section. It's in the current water section. It's revenue.
can I just ask a general question of Fred while he's sitting there, while everybody's getting their page?
His haircut looks good.
Do we have any kind of inventory that we maintain? Because I'm thinking with all this stuff going on, are there things that you're finding that we can't get, or you think that we should maybe keep on hand in case there's an interruption in deliveries or whatever the case may be?
We absolutely don't have inventory for stuff like this, but we are trying. We have some masks. John got us some masks. We have some suits. We have a handful of everything. Trying to use it. Like we stopped jetting. And we only jet for emergencies. And the plan is to put a locker in and keep stock of everything so we're more prepared.
I'm talking about, regular like, pipes or things that, because there's some companies that have now changed what they're manufacturing for this issue.
We do have on the inventory sheets I hand in at the end of the year. It has the inventory on the brass, steel pipe, the copper pipe, my fittings, my clamps. We have a good stock and all that. And even though those companies are still open, and I could get the product.
Okay, just wondered if you thought you might need to get some extra things that you think may be difficult to get at some point.
No, I would say not, because like I could go to Windwater tonight at 12 o'clock and call them, and they open the door for me
Immediately.
And then we probably have at least $1 million of stock in water alone, in just pipe and product.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we're starting at revenue, pretty much based on average services, service charge. Everything's all pretty average. If we have some new connections, if possible, divisions and things going on in that department, those numbers will be up, but we don't know that. We can't know for sure when it'll happen, so we stay on our average. That makes sense to you.
Okay.
That's the first 4 lines there.
Okay.
That's pretty much it for that page. And the next page.
What page?
Page 32.
Okay.
Oh, if you mean like for stock. You can say that. Hey, Sue?
What?
The board. Yeah.
Well, we were on the subject of that stock. Is a lot of times we supply Maybrook, Montgomery with product because we have like one of the largest water department in the area. We have the most stock, so we always have something on hand, and then they pay us back, of course.
What does that mean? Money, or they replace whatever they borrowed?
They replace what they borrow.
Replacing kind.
Okay.
Yep. We've been pretty good because we keep some stuff in stock. Right.
Well, I think it's smart for us to do that because if the supply chain ever gets interrupted, then, you know, we know that we can do what we have to do.
Correct.
Okay. The first is liability insurance. Really not much you do there. Dues is for their water association that they're involved with. Next is, that's not land rights, that's the lease, isn't it? Railroad lease?
Thing.
Yeah. So the railroad lease for the lease that we have water lines. that go through the railroad. Huh?
What?
Is that the 700?
Yes. That's for the water mains that go into the road. We gotta pay a fee.
What
Okay.
page are we on? What page are we on?
The first expense.
32.
It's a half of a page. The top part's blank.
Yeah, okay.
Gotcha.
All right, so on the bottom is a contingency for miscellaneous. You never know. We try and be careful. Page 32. That's the water ad.
Wait,
So-
that was 32.
33, sorry. 83, 10, 100. That's the wages for the 2 full-time sewer personnel, and part of Fred's salary as well comes out of there. Water, sorry. The 2 water guys.
Okay.
So the equipment, what you have for equipment on that? It's $1,000. It's just an office, the computer, that one. Remember?
Yeah, that was a laptop on there.
Yep. So 8310-200. That's just the laptop for the water department. They're do a lot of entries and data entry.
That's in the field or in the office?
That would be a mix of both.
Yeah, it'd be both because they had air card.
Okay.
They can live update. 8310-401. That's the water bill. Come out of there. And then 406 is the postage for the water bills. And then 8310-407 is advertising for the flushing. And if they had to do a posting for anything else, it would be in there, but that's basically the flushing, hydrant flushing.
Oh,
408 is just the phone, the office phones. And 409 are the cell phones and the air cards. They have to be on call and have to get alerted if there's any issues at the pump station, the well houses.
okay.
Page 34. That's their portion of gas, oil, and lube. Where's you must down the page? Right there. We're right there. Okay. And then 455 is that the water's portion of the attorney's retainer. Do any water codes you may have to update or answer questions regarding water-related questions. That's for Dave's firm. 8310-460 is for classes. The water conference was supposed to be, when was that, May? Got canceled though, so, but they'll have it next year, we hope, so it's in there for next year. Software maintenance fees, it's their portion of paying for the admin software. And then 8310-468, that's the charge, the monthly charge we get for the Badger self-service. 89 cents per. Right. 89 cents per unit per month. Right? Yeah.
It's split between water and sewer.
Yeah, it's 89 cents per unit per month, and it's split between water and sewer. You'll see that in sewer as well.
Who gets more?
Yeah. Proportionally allocated based on the bill. So then 8310-482 is radio repairs. As we discussed in the A fund, there's a portion allocated and encumbered for the radio tower. And then going forward, there's any repairs. So obviously that's the regular $1,000 for this year. Any programming, mics, anything like that. And 8310-489 is engineering. So if they need any engineering work or questions that's in there that's not capital, would be in this one. We don't spend it if we don't have to. We've been pretty good about it. Go down to 8310-491. That's the auditing. That's their portion of paying for the annual audit. And then page 35. 8320-120. That's overtime for the weekend maintenance.
Overtime for what?
Weekend maintenance. So they're required to go every day.
To the wells?
Yes. In holidays as well. I mean, every day. 8320-200. That's the equipment. The 6,000 covers the aquaphone and the hydro pump. They need a new hydraulic pump. You want to tell me what an aquaphone is? Anybody want to know what an aquaphone is?
You could talk in the shower.
Is it not the thing you use for the fire hydrants? What is it?
Yeah, they can listen to the ground, listen to the pipe, and try to pinpoint the leak.
Brett has an old rotary phone piece he uses to listen sometimes. Works pretty good.
I could actually listen to the curb box and hear you talking in the house.
That's nice.
More like
Okay.
yelling.
Yeah.
I
8322, that's office equipment, so that's the paper, anything like, stuff like that. 832404, that's their testing, that's required testing for water quality. 832440 is maintenance on any of the buildings, the water buildings. And then 832463 are the purification chemicals, so that's chlorine and phosphate. Is that right? Pretty good. Then electricity, natural gas. Where's the heat on that one? Did you have another heat? You have that line, right? Separated? Kelly?
That's their portion for the DPW building?
So that's electric for their well houses.
Yes.
It's a little.
Okay.
There's,
I don't think they have natural gas, so that's why I didn't separate it
No,
out for them.
they
So that's
don't.
why it should
yeah,
just
it's
say
the
electricity.
pump houses.
Probably just didn't change that one number.
What about the propane's out of there
That's what I
too?
was saying.
Propane too, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's really electricity and propane, not natural gas. The generators run off propane. They do, they do a self-test, so there's a little bit run every once in a while, but thankfully we haven't had power loss, so we've been running constantly, so we've been okay. 832472, electrical maintenance. That's if they need any electrical work done at the building, which happens from time to time. Lightning strike happened recently. It just thankfully we've been okay, but if it comes up, we have it. That's that.
Is all that electrical boxes and stuff that has been talked about that need to be replaced because they're so old, is that in a capital plan?
That's in sewer.
That's a sewer, okay.
And we'll get to that.
Okay.
It is capital. 832490, that's miscellaneous, just coverage for anything they need down at the for water. I mean, it could be anything. Overages, something breaks, and we don't have it budgeted because it wasn't anticipated. Things like that would come out of there. $834120 is really call-ins. Like if someone has water leaking out of their house over the winter, they get overtime for that, or water main breaks. Those are out of that. We were pretty good this winter. And
You're on 36, right?
Yep, sorry, top of page 36, overtime.
Okay.
Okay, so you can see this year it's not that much because we're not doing service lines. So hopefully we're good next year. I lowered it a little bit. Maybe we can lower it again, but I don't know for sure. So we've gone through a full year again. We didn't have a regular winter, so it's hard to tell. But I did lower it a little bit just because I know we can based on what's going on so far this year and last year. And 834200, that's for hydrant replacements. Hydrants pricing just went up again, so we had to raise it again. That's for 4, right? That covers 4 hydrants. $18,000 in the hydrant business.
Oh, boy.
And then 8340-410, material and supply, that's for all their sand, salt. Well, that's salt. Sand, stone, parts, that kind of stuff is all in there. And then you got repair parts is the next one. That's really meter repair parts. 8340-416. The clamps are in this one or this one? This one. Yeah, 410 includes the clamps too if they need new clamps. 8340-435, those are the union required clothing for those members in the water department. And then 441, they have some small hand tools they use for digging and things. Bars, shovels.
Uh-huh.
I think they're large hand tools, but that's just me.
That's
Yeah.
And then 8340-441 MEC is the mechanic tools for working on water equipment and water vehicles. Oil changes, inspection fees, all come out of that. You can circle that one, remember? You are, okay. Yeah. That you bought the, yeah, okay. 83, 44, 59, that's for generator maintenance and repairs. You know, sometimes, some years we're lucky and some we're not, so we're kind of on an average right now. Over the last several years, it's around, it should be okay. So. The rest of that stuff's Kelly stuff that we can go over later. We can go to sewer next, everybody's okay.
All right, what page?
It'd be page 2, the sewer section, the revenue, it's the first page.
Okay,
So again, the sewer rents, which is the first line, 2120. Sewer charges, basic user fees, and penalties are all based on averages over the last few years and how the number of service lines we have. Services.
okay,
Much different there. Next page starts the expenses. It's page 38.
okay,
1910 400. That's the liability insurance. Normal. To the right of way is the same thing. The going onto the railroad tracks, $700. And then there's a contingency for anything that might come up that we're not. It's a surprise, really. We've been okay on that lately. 8110 100 are the sewer wages, including a small portion of Fred's salary comes out of there as well because it's split.
okay, that's for how many employees down there, 2?
3.
3.
Yep.
Well, Fred doesn't count. I'm talking about, we have 3
3.
employees in sewer?
Technically, yes.
Okay,
8110 401, that's for their mailings for the water sewer bills. 8110 406 is the postage on the sewer bills. $8110 408 is the phone down at the plant, including the internet. And then 8110 409 is the air card for down there. And 8110 435 are the uniforms required by the union. And the bottom of 38, top of 39 is the gas, oil, lube, the portion that's paid out of sewer. And then 8110 455, that's the retainer for our attorney again, portioned out to the sewer department. And 459 is the generator maintenance and repairs for all the different pump stations that have generators. And then 460 is education, which they haven't been able to use much this year because the conferences are in the spring and been postponed. So they'll have them next year.
do they anticipate doing anything online?
They do some stuff online, but not the conferences. I mean, they have like short classes. They don't have the full day for their certifications, so they have to really work on that. I haven't seen any yet, right? No. Software maintenance, 461, that's their portion of Edmunds. 469, that's the fee per unit per month for Badger.
468?
Yes. 482 radios again, the same thing. We had encumbered some money this year. Next year, we got to put $1,000 in there. There's nothing right now. We have to change that to 1,000. And then engineering 489. That's for VRI. That's the company that's down there. It's a type 3A license. Yeah, 3A or 3B. It's a 3A license for the type of plant we have. 491 is the auditing expenses. That's their portion of the auditors for RBT. And 8120, 120, that's overtime for sewer issues. Then 8120, 200 is for equipment. That's for pump repairs. Oh. Faith's got to
Page
sign
40.
back. Yeah, page 40. Yep. 8120, 200. Okay, next one. That's capital.
Did you mention that 410 line yet, John?
No.
Faith is trying to get back on.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
That's part of the digester, no?
Yeah, that's 6,200.
I'll do that.
I should have broke it down.
I know. Huh.
Primary control.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's 3,000.
Okay. Well, while we're waiting, trying to get her on, I mean, it's nothing too crazy here. 8120, 200 is equipment. Usually, if you have to redo a pump or something, we try and get it done in here. That's for only repairs, not a replacement. Replacement's 19,000 at least.
Is that why it's so up and down? Like one year it's 7,000, the next year it's 3.
That's the next one. That's material and supplies. That's depending on what they need for repairs. So if they have sewer main breaks, more material, they'll get more. But they don't usually anticipate too many because there's not that many that break that often.
Okay.
Keep going.
Okay. The next one's the big one I got to explain. 812413. So that's moved to capital because it includes some pretty significant things. There's digester work that needs to get done, a roof that's got to get put on, the electrical control panel, stairs at Timbrook, and an aerator got to get replaced. It's all in there. That's going to be lumped in with a larger sewer project that's going to be encumbered with some funds from the state. It's going to be the Timbrook pump station repairs, the headworks repairs.
Yeah, well,
Am I reading it right?
That's the DEC.
Yes. That's right.
Am I reading it right that you're going to bring the line to 0?
Yes.
Okay. Is
Going
there
into capital.
Now.
isn't that going to make the year to year look really weird next year? Can't we keep it at like the 20,000 and only bring 49 into capital, or do we need it all in there?
No, it's if we only put money in there when we have an anticipated project. If you look at even back to 16 and 17, there's nothing in there because we only do it when we have those anticipated projects. Like
I just thought we hadn't started that line yet. Okay.
No.
So that's part of that. Okay, so it's part of the consent order.
The digester work's got to get done. Aerator, the control panel's got to get done. That's all going to be lumped in with the DC work that we're doing. Yes.
Okay.
Yep, that's all got to be done.
I just didn't know if it was all part of that consent order.
Let's find out.
John, some of that not in the consent order. It's just things that need to be done. But that the Tinbrook is in the consent order, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
The head work is in the consent order. That'll be in there as well.
Okay.
And if we don't do some of this stuff, it'll be a new consent order. So we got to make sure we do it.
Well, they just give us a new one anyway. So what the hell's the difference?
If we don't do this from
Fred's
Well,
going to double check.
Your
Yep, go ahead.
electrical panel is the most important out of them all.
Yeah. Fred's going to double check to make sure he doesn't need anything in that this coming year besides what we already talked about. And we're gonna double check to make sure. But as of right now, no. 812441 for mechanic tools. That's their portion of what things they need to repair things for the sewer plant, their truck, pieces of equipment. 443 is any structural at the plant. So they have concrete walls that need to get repaired sometimes, railings, things like that, stairs. 81-24-47, pretty self-explanatory, just pipe. And 471, that's electric, natural gas generators. There's a couple at some of the pump stations. Electrical maintenance, that's for maintenance at the plant as well. We have some work that's coming up. We never know when stuff's going to be needed, so we can't lower that really. That's about it for that one.
So, just a quick, the 81-24-71.
Yep.
What did you do over the last 5 years that has brought that bill down so much?
So it's split between two different things. One is the plant and one is the system itself. And then we also broke out electricity from heating costs.
Yeah, I see that, but it still went down significantly.
So if you go to 81-30-471, you'll see the difference there. There'll be
Oh. Okay.
It's been split the other way.
I didn't
over the
see
year.
that line yet. Okay.
Yep, we'll get there. Page 41. That's the weekend and holiday overtime for people that have to go every day to check the pumps, check the pump station, check the plant, check the inflow, effluent, and influent. Required. 81-30-200. It's really just equipment that they might need to replace. Small stuff. 81-30-404. That's the testing that's required by DEC. Effluent testing every day. In the summer, they're testing for other things as well, including chlorine, bacteria, ammonia. Now a test all the time. They check for certain metals every other year. Not this year. It might be not this coming year. The year after, I think they again test for heavy metals. It's like a several $1,000s expense. 81-30-410. That's material supplies that they might need for system. So, pellers, oops, right? 410, 413. Yes.
Grease, stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, that grease additive, right? That too?
Yeah.
Yeah. From Duke, we get this control chemical that helps to reduce the grease at the different stations. That comes out of there. 413 is any pump maintenance we got to do on the pump stations, including the pumps. 81-30-441 or their small tools. Over that. 81-30-443. That's the structural maintenance there. That includes which one?
Is that,
For which one? What is that? We went up 5,000. What? There's some work we had to do at the stations.
that's the 443?
Yep.
What is
458.
it? Why did it, wait, why did it go up so much?
Just the work we have to do at the stations.
I couldn't hear you. You cut out.
A lot of the
Work at the pump stations.
we got to
Okay, I
replace.
couldn't hear him.
We have to replace a couple impellers in some of these smaller lift stations. You get little notches in the impeller, and it's catching all these rags, and it's tying them up. Like every 3 days, we gotta from all these disposable wipes, we're pulling them and pulling them. So we have to replace a couple impellers.
And then we have a minor roof repair to do at Timbrook Pump Station. It's likely going to come out of that as well. We're not sure if that's going to end up being part of the capital project at Timbrook or if we're going to do it in that line. So we're just going to be careful. 81-30-458. That's the landfill. That's where we take the cake. It's cake, they call it.
I heard that.
Okay. 81-30-465. That's the chemicals for the contact tank. Chlorine. And then 81-30-471 is the electric for the pump stations. It's a lot. Yeah. Electrical maintenance, that's just me, anything they might have to do there, they're pretty good about it. Page 42. The first line, 470, 8130, 473.
Yes,
That's the permit for the DEC for our Speedies permit to be able to discharge sewage. Natural gas. That's about it on that. I think that's it on that one. Okay. Everyone that works in Fred's departments are in the union, so they're all based on the union contract, except for Fred, and Fred is the same as us, the 2% overall that we were doing across the board. Yeah.
what page is, water and sewer on, just so I know? Are they mixed in with, oh, I see.
Yep. You see him there?
Yep,
Page 5.
5 and 6. 5's water, 6 is sewer. You go back. You'll see page 3 has the highway department.
okay, anything else?
Yep. Few things. Just want to go over some capital things in general.
Where's that?
It's not. We're gonna just talk about it with you. Just put a little face around. Queenan's working on it. It's really hard to get pricing right now because a lot of places aren't open. But he's trying to give us a general idea, and he's coming in right now. Okay.
Okay.
He's gonna join. John, you there? I just gave him admission. It might take a second.
There he is.
There you go. Hey, John. Thank you. You're not on mute, are you?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, I
John, you
can't.
gotta unmute.
Hello?
Thanks, John. Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. So I kind of went over a couple things at Tinbrook and the sewer plant, but I didn't want to go over anything crazy until you got on.
Okay.
Just to recap, for the sewer fund this year, capital, we're looking at a couple different options. John's going to try and prioritize that with you and get some pricing. But as I said before, pricing's been hard because a lot of places are closed. So he's trying his best to get some estimates of what it could cost next year. We can allocate. As per our 10-year plan, we try to stay at 250 for water, 250 for sewer, and 500 for general fund in capital projects every year. Obviously, sewer is going to be huge, and it's going to be more of a long-term bond loan from USDA we're looking at. So I don't know if John can talk about that after I kind of list off what we're looking at in the sewer fund. We have the Tinbrook pump station. We're going to try and do the roof and stairs out of the sewer general line. We can't. I have to lump it in with the capital. And then at the plant, we need to update the trickling filters, do some upgrades to accommodate for ammonia on discharge, work on the headworks, electrical panel, and then get a generator at Linden Pump Station. I don't know if John can speak to that part.
What's that, John?
Can you speak to sewer projects first?
Sure.
And how we're doing?
You want to know the ones that we're doing now or for the future?
Both, if you just give a brief for the board so they know where we're at and where we're going.
Sure. We are working on, well, we were going to have completed the siphon bypass removal on Route 52. That was supposed to be done a few weeks ago, however, it's been delayed. Besides that, we've been working on the Tinbrook bypass pump station plan to get that to the state that was submitted for their review and sign off on that. Good night. And then we've been working with treatment plant operators to go over ammonia removal options, because right now the plant is running over permit, and we're probably going to end up in a violation. So we've been going through some steps there to try to get the ammonia levels to where the DEC has instituted on the new permit. So what the state did was, when they renewed the permit in 2017, they put limits on ammonia. And the ammonia limits basically went from, I think it was like, you weren't permitted for it before, and now you're at a level of somewhere in the range of like 3. Plant was never designed to take it, and it's not designed to treat it for that low. So what we've been doing is application of what we call bugs. But unfortunately, the bugs only work if you have a stable flow to the plant. So every time it rains, we get a high flow, the bugs get washed out, and the ammonia levels spike. So we have to come up with a different treatment system there. That's going to tie into ultimately the project there for the headwork upgrade, which is the third piece of the consent order. So that's kind of where we are right now with sewer. We do have a project that's going to be bid out in the next few weeks for lining on Sherman and Elm as part of the continuing I&I program.
Did we ever find anything on Valley when you did the smoke testing and everything?
A couple minor spots we did find. We did have one significantly poor section that we were able to line. So yeah, there was some improvements there when doing that.
We didn't smoke test yet, Dan. That was just the lining project.
Okay.
If we did smoke testing, you would have definitely would know that.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, there'd be smoke at all your neighbors' roofs.
Yep.
That is the goal eventually, and we are doing some flow monitoring. That's really what we're trying to figure out, if we can find some other I&I areas. John, if you want to talk about what we're doing for the coming year and kind of where we'd get funding.
For which part? You want me to do I&I or you want me to do the plant?
The Tinbrook work and the plant.
Yeah, so you have basically two major projects. One is the Tinbrook pump station bypass removal. It's part of the consent order. Right now, that project is somewhere in the range of $500,000 to $600,000 to complete. And then the second part of the consent order is the treatment plant headworks upgrade. That ties into the ammonia treatment, which also ties into the trickling filter media replacement. And right now, all of those three together are somewhere in the range of $1.1 to $1.3 million. So we're currently looking at all sorts of options for funding, grant funding, through the CFA, through the DEC, and primarily through the EFC is where you're going to get the funding from. And probably through EFC, you're going to be in terms of a low interest loan with a portion of it being a grant. Because there are no other programs out there right now that are offering that kind of funding for that project. And after this whole COVID thing takes its course, who knows what grant funds will be available, if any, based on the fiscal year of the state. So those are the three big items, and we must get through those items. Those are on the DEC consent order. I did send notification to the state about having those timeframes amended based on what's going on. And so we'll wait to hear back and see what they say on those. Some of the other projects we did have on the list real quick. Was a generator at the sewage treatment plant, somewhere in the range of 80 to 90,000. That'd be a generator that would actually run the entire plant. Right now, you have a generator down there that just runs a portion of it. I believe the control building at the sewage treatment plant roof is leaking. That will have to be repaired and replaced. That's about estimated about $25,000 right now. We also have the electrical panel that's in the control building that needs to get looked at. It's probably a farther, ticket item down the line, but it should still be on the list. We don't have any costs right now. We have just gotten started getting into that. We also have potentially replacing or repairing the generator at the Linden pump station, which has been inoperable for a little while now. And then, like I said, we'll have to continue with sewer main lining in some fashion in order to keep up with I&I in the system.
Perfect.
Aren't you just a little ray of sunshine, Q?
I always am, Sue. I missed your voice for so long.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay,
Now
so
I can see the top of your head.
that's sewer. Next is water. Not too bad. We have to look at replacing the altitude valve at Gladstone tank. And obviously the board is aware we're looking for a well on the west side. We have a couple locations we're exploring. John, you want to speak to those things?
Sure. The altitude valve at Gladstone, I've been talking with Fred. It's an old unit, needs to be replaced. It's what basically controls the water level in the tank because that tank is lower than the other tanks in the system. That cost is estimated to be around $60,000, and it's fairly reasonable. It's within a pit, so there's confined space and everything else has to go on there. The third item is well exploration and well test drilling. I believe the board saw a report from Tom Cusack, our hydrogeologist, about a potential water source on the west side. We'd like to further that investigation by going in and doing test wells. And that would consider a few test wells being drilled, pump tested for both quantity and quality. Right now, that's estimated in the range of about 40,000, depending on the number of test wells we do. And that's pretty much all I had for water at this point with those two.
Did you also have on your horizon the other potential site for west side that we talked about? I don't know if Tom has been on that yet.
Yeah, I did send it to him. He will include it in the exploration.
Make sure. Thanks.
Yeah.
You know, long term, we had talked about the Wade Street tank, but that's not going to be in the next 3 to 4 years. That might be 5 or more years out, correct? Wade Street tank? About 5 years out. Just so the board's aware. Okay, that's it for water, right?
Yes, that's all I had.
All we had? All right, general fund. We have a couple things not related to John, really. I'm going to go through the list real quick, John, so the board's aware of what we're looking at.
Sure.
We have the mobile lift, which is about 44,000. We have the community center, which we don't know exactly what we're going to be paying yet because we're waiting for Senator Scoopus, which John can speak to later. We have a sidearm for the sweeper, which is between 16 and 18,000, and that's actually to cut. It cuts brush and different things that are on the curb in the curb lines. We've had issues with that lately. This broom actually pulls it out of the edge of the road and on the curb. It's a pretty good one. The back stairs at Village Hall are in the fire escape in bad shape. There's some, what do you call that, spalling of the elevator. The stairway on West Main Street needs to get replaced. We need to look at the salt shed at DPW and Grove Street paving and drainage. Also looking at the second floor at DPW for their additional training room, office space. And then also looking at potentially painting that top part of the roof outside of Village Hall where the paint's chipping and looks terrible. So those are things on the list that are not prioritized. John, I don't know if you want to speak to some of those.
Yeah, I mean, you basically hit everything that was on my list. Community center funding, we're waiting for the confirmation from Senator Scoofus on the availability of the other funding that he's supposed to be getting from us from the missing Larkin funds. So until we know that, then we really won't know where to go money-wise with that project. Grove Street, you touched upon, drainage and pavement upgrades. We did pulling the language for the easements in order to get drainage from Grove Street to Coldenham Road. The village most likely does have a drainage easement that runs through some private properties there. So we might be able to divert the drainage to there and alleviate what's going on Grove Street so that maybe we're able to, reclaim it and repave it without it breaking apart in a few years. Get rid of the drainage there. I did take a look at the Village Hall rear staircase with Dean. Basically, water is sitting in the corners of the stairwells on each level. and is rotting out the staircase. So Dean had contacted a few people. I'm just waiting for some quotes. We're probably going to do a repair of the corners there with some welding and some splicing of the metal. There was also the West Main Street concrete staircase. We did get a quote to replace that right at the corner there. I believe it's Pine and
It's Orchard in West Main.
Orchard, that's right.
Yes.
We had a quote of 88,000. Seems a little high, so we're trying to work on getting another 2 quotes from contractors for that work. And that's all I have. We have the roof replacement at Village Hall was slated to start probably next month. I think that's still on target as long as everything holds. And once we get the roof replaced, then we can roll into the railing replacement and the painting of the railing and that section below the railing, basically the white trim around Village Hall. The only thing we need to confirm there is whether or not the paint is lead. So.
Salt shed, do you have any type of pricing on that or any estimate on?
Keep for a minute. I'll be right back.
Yep.
The DPW salt shed was somewhere between 250, 300,000.
And did you have any? You didn't have any pricing yet. You're still looking at easements for Grove. Is that what you said, correct?
Correct. I mean, I think at a minimum, if you were just to reclaim and pave it and do some basic drainage, you're probably talking about 150,000, somewhere in that range. It's relatively, I think it's only like 250 feet long.
Right. Okay.
Hey, John.
Yeah. John Q.
Both of you. The staircase at West Main and Orchard, does the railing included with the stairs?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
My idea was to try and make it. I'm not sure what the cost of that is compared to redoing the concrete stairs. See, what kind of ideas are there, but stairs as they are now aren't very ADA friendly. To get ADA friendly, you'd have to make a huge zigzag. So we can either replace exactly as it is or try and do, ADA compliance. Not sure what the difference in price is going to be, but they're both going to be hard.
There'd be no way to do ADA compliance there.
It's a slope, right?
It's just too much. It's too much of a grade difference. You'd have to end up getting easements from the homeowners, basically, to do a complete switchback ramp there.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Okay. Any other questions on capital? As I said
You
before,
have
John.
them listed in priority, John?
Not yet. He was trying to get estimates for things so we could try and prioritize based on what we can afford. He's going to keep working on that, try and have it done by this week if we can, at least get rough estimates. But they're not, we're not going to be able to hold them accountable because pricing for some people.
Yeah, and a lot of the pricing is thrown off right now because none of the county bids for road work or blacktop or stone have come out yet, and who knows what those will be. I'm hoping that the blacktop prices are going to be relatively cheap this year, and maybe the labor as well. I just don't know.
Anybody else have
As soon as
any
we-
questions for John Queenan?
No, just as soon as we can get some estimates, will you send that off to us, John?
Yes,
Sure.
John Queenan, yes.
Yeah, wasn't sure it's John.
Anything else for John Queenan?
No, I think he's given us more than enough. Thanks, John Queenan.
Thanks, John.
No problem. Anytime, guys.
Thanks, John.
Stay well.
Bye, you too.
All right, take care.
Anything else
night.
for Fred? Anything else for Fred?
No.
Did we ever get the situation with, the business on Main Street about that sewer issue? Did that ever get, settled?
Grease trap issues? I don't think so. We were working with Dean and Dave Donovan on that. On how, inspections in general on all of those around the village. Someone got kicked off again. The Faith?
Yeah, I saw she left.
She got
You know what I'm talking about, right?
I do.
Dean,
It's Ming-G's. It's not, yeah.
I was talking to Dean, we're gonna get together at some point, we're gonna put together a process of doing inspections. They should be inspected every year, and right now they're not.
Yeah, well.
Yep.
Well, we need to have some kind of resolution for that, right?
Yes. Yeah, we're working on it with Dave.
Okay.
Hey, John?
Yes.
Hey, I know this isn't a priority or anything, but, the parking space there at, Main Street and Oak, in front of the Old Town of Montgomery building, is that, gonna be worked on soon, or,
The sign got moved, right? Yeah, the sign already got moved.
the pavement lines are done?
No, no painting yet.
No, we didn't paint them yet.
We haven't gotten anybody painting yet.
We're gonna paint them black as soon as it, dries out.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I just want to make sure everyone's aware that tomorrow between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. out front of Village Hall, there's food donation for all of our employees. More than welcome to stop by. Right out front for all our employees.
Are we for Ed Leonard and Rick Penny? I know this isn't budget, but are we sending condolences of some kind or what?
I don't even know what we can send right now. We were talking about that today. Marissa was asking as well. I don't know where you can send. There's not a service, so I don't know what you want to do. I mean, Rick's a former employee, fire chief. Ed's a former trustee, also planning board member. I mean, so it's hard for both of them.
Well, usually we send something to a service. Are we allowed to make a donation to any kind of, I don't know, what would you say? No?
We'll work on something. I'll ask Dave tomorrow if he can think of anything.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't have anything else today. Just for everyone's recollection, tomorrow is going to start with Dean, the building department, and then go to the PD with Chief.
Okay, same time, 6 o'clock?
Yes. Hopefully we have some of these other kinks worked out as well. We had an issue with people joining in the live stream, so we'll try and fix that as well.
Okay.
Okay.
This will be posted on our website, just so you're aware. It'll be on the website tomorrow when Marissa comes in.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Lynn, how are you?
Hey. Hold on a second.
I couldn't get on, and now I can't get off.
We're
How do
still
you
being
get off of
recorded.
this thing?